That was loud. Okay. You don't think it's fair. You struggled so long to find your place, to get to where you are now. You've even given up your partner. The subway was your life. Okay. Should I click the dots? Yeah. Even before reading the spiral-bound books the company gave you for the admission test, you already knew the complete story of every line in the Buenos Aires subway system. You already knew 2-line had been the first one, that it was ready in 1912, but wasn't inaugurated until 1913, a prime number. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19. You knew there were 2 different theories to explain the names of the lines. Some people believed it was some kind of mathematical mysticism professed by the construction company's owner. But there were also those who believed it was a strategy the government was using to compete against more developed countries, to make the local subway network seem larger than what it really was. You also knew the 19 line had been inaugurated in 1951, another prime number, and that the late-night subway service for the 19 had been released in 1973. No relatives or friends of yours worked in the subway system, so the path until you got to drive a unit was a bumpy one. You paid your dues, working in every imaginable position for years. You never complained. There was no amount of abuse you wouldn't take to get where you wanted. You were going to be a train operator eventually. It had been your dream ever since you were a kid, the one constant thing in your life. When a train operator position finally opened and you were informed the night shift of the 19 was yours, you felt all your hard work had paid off. But now that you were a train operator, the others still treated you like you didn't deserve it. 7 months on the job and you'd never been late to a station or stopped past the door marks on the platform floor. Your performance was impeccable. Was that it? Your fellow train operators believed you were the best student, that hideous reference point against which the bosses set the measure for everyone else? You're about to reach the station. You regret that you let all those negative thoughts consume you, instead of enjoying the ride. Now you have to see their faces. It's only 13 minutes to 1 a.m. Go to the bathroom, go to the common room. Okay, well, before we start making choices, real quick, the synopsis from the Itch.io page, it says, deep below the surface, there's an annual night procession through dark, ancient tunnels. These tunnels are supposed to be older than the colonization of the Americas, and they cross a segment of the 19 line. Subway drivers from the 19 know they must never stop, especially on the night of procession. You believe you have the moral high ground, but you drive a train 83 feet below the surface. Interesting. Well, let's give it a go then. So now you have to see their face. It's only 13 minutes to 1 a.m. Well, I'm gonna go pee just in case. Let's go pee. Because nothing pisses me off more than when I'm like, I don't gotta go pee. Especially if I know I'm gonna be in for it for like if I'm driving to visit my family and they live like 6 hours away, and then not even 30 minutes into the driving, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta pee. You use the keys shared by train operators and maintenance staff and lock yourself in a stall. You hang your bag on one of the hooks and close the toilet lid. Cover the lid with toilet paper. Cover the lid with the toilet paper. You've heard Jose complain so many times about his sore groin that you don't want to take any chances, even when you sit on the toilet lid with your pants on. When was the last time that any of them, Jose, Paco, and Chelo, spoke to you? Why would they give you the silent treatment? And why would they all stop talking when you entered the room, or didn't answer right away when you made a direct question? Why wouldn't they invite you when they all had breakfast at the same bar? Because they're not your friends, sweetheart. Being left aside is not new to you. You grew up with an alcoholic mother and an absent father. You have no siblings. However, that doesn't make it any less painful. You get up and flush the toilet. You realize you haven't actually used it and you're wasting the company's water, and that makes you feel guilty. You try to stop the process, but it's too late. You get out of the bathroom and open the door of the common room. Jose, Paco, and Chelo are drinking scotch. Why are the three train operators drinking in the middle of the workday? You feel a pit in your stomach and your hands start trembling. Paco points at you and asks if you're okay. He calls you kid. He's never called you that. Even though you're almost 40, you don't mind. For the first time, you feel things can change. Cello pours a glass of scotch and asks you to join them. It's a special night, he says. You approach the table and sit on a chair. Cello hands you the glass. Grab the glass, shake your head. Well, I mean, I guess like one drink is fine. Just one. After that, no, because you are working. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't grab the scotch glass. It's against the rules and you fought so hard to get where you are. Sure, I guess, where you are now. You look at Chelo apologetically. Jose tells the others he was right. You were a pussy and you had no business in the 19. You try to say something, but Jose interrupts you and sends you to fetch some water. He gulps down the scotch Chelo had poured for you. Alright. Cógelo con tiristi, okay? Because the only pussy I see is the one on your fucking face. Esa boca chocha, cabrón. That's what I would have said. You pour yourself a glass of tap water and hear them laugh. You choose not to look their way to avoid further comments. You spend the following minutes by the sink, going over the emergency procedures in case there's a surprise inspection during the week. Chelo walks up to where you are and starts rinsing his glass. He tells you under his breath to go to the bathroom in a few minutes and lock yourself in a stall. 5 minutes later, you're on your way out and hears Jose say your name. You don't get what he says, but it was probably nothing good. You enter the bathroom and lock yourself in a stall. After a while, Chelo comes in and opens the faucet. He stands next to the stall and asks you to understand the guys. They're nervous because today's a very special night for the 19. Ask why it's a special night? Speak ill of Jose. But why is it a special night? And even if it was a special night, don't fucking pick on people over it. Don't be an asshole. But why is it a special night? Chelo asks you to be patient. You understand in time. You see Chelo slide something under the door. I love that. Under the door, and he says, tonight is not like any other night. That no matter what happens, you must not leave the train. And in case there's trouble, there, you have a knife. You want to open the door and ask for an explanation, but Chelo is holding it. As soon as you stop pushing, he tells you to stay calm and wait until he's gone. That even if he wanted to, he wouldn't be able to say much more. You hear the bathroom door shut. Lift the knife and put it in your pocket. Lift the knife and leave it on the toilet lid. You see, I'm concerned. What if I don't take the knife with me? And there's something that I have to defend myself against. Or what if I take the knife with me and eventually those three idiots do something they're not supposed to do and I'm caught with the murder weapon? You know what I'm saying? I'll take the knife with me. Let me put my controller over here before I drop it like I did with the drink earlier. Oh my god, I'm gonna drop it. I'll just leave it on my lap. You walk to the mirror and wash your face. Definitely, this is not an ordinary night. You check your watch. You have to start your route again. Are those birds? Those are pigeons. I like pigeons. What kind of idiot? Oh my god. What the fuck was that? Where all those people come from? You force your way through the crowd and confirm your worst fear. A man's torso lies a few feet from the train. You don't see his legs, but assume they could be between the train and the tracks. Ask for help to move the body. Go back to the car. No, ask... But call 911? I ask for help to move the body. You ask one of the people there to help you move the body. They ignore you. You grab another man by the robe, but he gets rid of you and keeps walking. Aren't they helping you? Who are they? You need to go back to the car, informed that the service should be suspended until the body is removed and all these people are out of the tracks. You open your eyes and try to understand what you're seeing. It's hard to get used to the light. Somehow you're walking among all those people. Close your eyes. Struggle. Struggle? You notice they've been holding you under your armpits. 2 rough movements and you're free. Speed up. An old man trips and falls on you. His face is haggard and smells of cigarettes. You ask the old man if he's okay, but he doesn't answer. Before you can get up, someone else trips and falls on you too. Ask for help, try to get up. You move closer to the wall and manage to free yourself. You get up with difficulty. More people trip and crush the old man. You scream and ask that somebody help him, but the crowd pushes forward. You're aware of your racing heart. You can feel your pulse raging in your legs, arms, and chest. You try to calm down and breathe slowly, to not think about what just happened. Once you feel more calm, you become aware of the stench in the tunnels. You look around, but don't... I was reading that. Where are you? This tunnel you're at right now doesn't belong to the subway network, that you know for sure. You look around and no one else is paying attention to you. They just keep walking forward. You're not sure why a smile spreads over your face, reinforcing the void you feel inside. A smile that looks nothing like happiness. You think that these people are the subway, or like the subway, they move forward with overwhelming strength. For a moment you see the body right before it was hit and you grab your head. Your legs hurt, but you know you can't stop. You've made that mistake before. You feel something different in the atmosphere. It smells a little like fresh air and you can see a light far away. A few minutes later, you see a fork in the tunnel. The people before you go left. I want to know where they're going, but at the same time, I kind of don't. Sure, let's go left. You turn left and see how the walkers appear to be choosing their places. You think right away about that one time you went with your ex-wife to the Cologne Theater, back when she still said "me too" to your "I love yous." The stale odor becomes stronger and brings you back to the present. You have no doubt now there's a certain rhythm to the terrible bangs that fill the place. You've walked a little more than a quarter of the terrace circumference when you see people coming your way. You think that may be the ones who turned right at the entrance. Keep walking a little bit more, plant your feet. I'll stay right here for now. I'll watch from a distance. You try to stick a foot between the legs of the person closest to you and the wall. You look at the entrance to see that people are still pouring in. You see them pushing and hear the first screams. But the screams do not come from the people falling. It is the crowd cheering every time someone falls and smashes against the gallery floor. The ones closest to the wall push forward in order to see, and those closest to the edge lose footing and fall. Terrified, you see how your foot approaches the edge and feel sharp pain in your calf muscle. Unlock your foot from the leg of the person behind you, grab the collar of the person behind you. I'll unlock my foot. The Am I in hell? The moment you unlock your foot, you feel an instant relief of the muscle, but it doesn't last long. With no firm place to hold on to, you fall towards the gallery and smash into the ground. You look at your legs and see your femur protruding out of your leg. You feel no pain. You see some giant shapes clash among them and finally understand where the loud noises were coming from. You slowly fall asleep and never wake up. And 3 out of 7. What? The one closest to the wall pushes forward in order to see, and those closest to the edge lose footing and fall. Terrified, you see how your foot approaches the edge and feel sharp pain in... Yeah, I'm gonna grab the collar of the person. Stealth up. You grab the man by the collar. He smiles while inertia sends you both spinning through the air. You fall on top of him and feel his head burst under you. Ooh. You try to stand up, but your arms won't respond, and you feel something sticky and warm against your cheeks. When you realize it's the exploded eyeballs of the man, you move aside with uncanny speed given the state of your bodies in. You wipe as best you can, but suddenly stop. Giant beasts that look like armadillos crash against each other and trample the corpses in the galleries. Something seems to lock into your brain and the stench overpowers you, making you gag. You have to get out of there. One of the creatures seems to notice there's movement and starts running towards you. Run to the pile of corpses, run to an apparent exit. Sure, we'll run to the pile of corpses first. You throw yourself over the bodies and roll to the side. The creature charges against the bodies, and you hear the sound of broken bones. Another creature runs to you. Stay where you are. Stand in front of the pile of corpses. I don't want to stand in front of it. Yeah, sure. You stand between the pile of corpses and the creatures charging at you. The first creature lifts its snout from the gory meat and walks to you. At the last moment, you roll to the side, and the creatures crash against each other with a loud bang that echoes throughout the gallery. One of the giant armadillos gets trapped upside down and can't get back up. You move as fast as you can towards the light, and suddenly everything goes dark. You hear screams that do not seem of pain. They sound like the screams of some Brazilian pastors you've seen on TV. Are these people worshipping the giant creatures? You can't believe the size of the beast, much larger than the rest. Was it their mother? You start to retrace your steps, catch a glimpse of the soft body of the armadillo that cannot move. You take the knife out of your pocket and don't think about it twice. You push the blade into the soft tissue and use all your body weight to open up the wound on the creature's... Oh! It's opened the wound up to the creature's anus. The screaming is deafening. You jump aside and watch the mother turn her young right side up while it dies slowly, its guts spreading all over the floor. You run to the light while the mother keeps moving the creature with its snout, and the rest of her offspring keeps smashing corpses frantically. You enter the old tunnels and try to put as much distance as possible between you and the gallery. As you walk away, the sounds soften until they seem to disappear. You wander through the tunnels for hours until you finally hear a voice calling your name. You collapse to the floor and scream until your throat bleeds. A few minutes later, Cello kneels by your side. You show him the bloody knife. Cello nods and helps you up. Well, it was good that I brought the knife then. A few weeks later, you go back to work. You say hi to them and they greet you as an old friend. Between one trip and the other, you share mate. You share mate? And once a year, always on the same night, scotch. You no longer feel guilty. You like to think you're now part of a special subgroup, like the prime numbers. You remember the fundamental theorem or arithmetic taught in the company's booklet, which states that every integer greater than 1 either is a prime number itself or can be represented as the product of prime numbers. You think about your talks with the guys of the 19, about everything each of you saw on the ground. You realize there are only ones that can understand you. They're the only ones that can understand you. And 7 out of 7. Jesus Christ. What kind of a bullshit did our character get themselves into? This is like one of those, like, I don't want to say in a sense like eldritch horror because I don't know if it's this maybe can be considered like an eldritch. I see a cat. That's a cat licking its paw. Oh, that's a cat right in the middle, underneath that second open shade. Aw, he's so cute. Okay, back to the game. Sorry, I got distracted. um, what was I saying? Okay, so but it's definitely one of those types of things like what you see a lot with Eldritch lore that I don't think no matter how many times we play this, how many endings we get, there will ever be an answer. And I think that's what makes that type of horror great, but also terrifying because at the end of the day, there's just no answer for it. That's there, and you have to deal with it. And even if you try to separate yourself from it, I don't think you actually can. Whether it's because Jose Chelo, who was it, Paco, will come back for him, whether it's because the people within the gallery will come back for him and make sure that he would stay a part of them forever. I don't know what it is, but that shit's fucking wild. I liked it. Just for that alone, I liked it because I feel like when it comes to not just with horror, but with anything, sometimes you don't need a deep, detailed answer for it. It is what it is. You have to deal with it, even if it makes you uncomfortable. I liked it. It was a very good game. That one is 19 line. I found it on Itch.io. I don't know if you can get it like on Steam or anything, but it was very good. And you can download it for free, but you can also tip you can still give money to the creator, which I think is always good. It's always good to try to give them a little bit of something because they do if they're giving this out for free, that's something else completely. They're putting a lot of time and effort into this type of stuff and they deserve compensation.